this is me. That's right, the dude with the fanny pack and the high socks in this remote German village. You see, it was always my dream to travel with my dad to our native land of Germany, but alas, I was too broke. But now I had a remote job, so I figured why not earn and travel at the same time? And in fact, I made over $5,753 while traveling through Berlin, Munich, Frankfurt, and even Switzerland on a 12-day trip. A few years ago, I would have thought this was freaking impossible, but this summer, it was a freaking reality. Which is why in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how I made that $5,753 while traveling on this trip, and how you can too if you just follow my simple 3 steps to success plan to get rich or die trying plan.com. Step 1. I already had a job at this point doing something called high-ticket remote closing, which is basically me just connecting with people over Zoom calls who are interested in buying some high-ticket thing. Usually it's like $5,000 to $10,000, and every time I sell something, I make 10%. If you do the math, I would only need 6 people to buy my $5,000 thing in order to make up the $5,700 whatever. Only problem is, not everyone does buy. And in fact, I had over 17 conversations with people over those 12 days to make that money. And usually I would be taking them just before having breakfast or even later into the evening after we've had dinner, usually to like start my day or end my day. And the bulk of my day was just kind of traveling and seeing cool shit.
Right now we are at the Castle of the Dukes. Or something like that.
So now with that out of the way, step 1 is finding one of these companies who are selling one of these high-end products or services for $5,000 to $10,000. There's thousands of these companies online that already have huge staffs of guys that are doing what I'm doing. So for example, if you've ever seen this guy on your feed, this fucking guy, he's actually a fitness influencer selling a $5,000 personal training program. Go figure. Or if you've ever seen this guy, Alex Hormozi, he is always looking for new talent to connect with his potential customers to sell high-end business coaching for $10,000, $15,000, even $20,000. And those are just the names and the faces of the people you know of. I guarantee you that there are thousands of these guys that you have never even seen or heard of just playing in the shadows. So right in front of me, I have my computer and I'm on a site called repselect.io where you can find job postings from these business owners every day. This video is not sponsored. This is just where I found one of my jobs in the past. If you go into search jobs here, it's going to pull up a catalog of all the latest jobs that have been posted for this exact role. So you can see there was one 22 hours from now, 2 hours ago, 6 hours ago, a day ago, a day ago, a day ago, a day ago. Hey, a day ago. Let's see what some of these companies are. So right here, you can see Insider.Group. They're looking for a closer at a 17% commission, a $10,000 package that they're selling, and you can make anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 a month. So if I click in here, we're going to learn a little bit more about this company. And what I'm noticing here, it's like an offer similar to Alex Hormozi, where he helps other business owners just grow their business online. So you can see some of their case studies here, 7.8 million with under 7 clients. We'll go down here, 100 plus members across the world, all the different brands they've worked with, and then just reviews of different clients that they've worked with. You know, I've officially closed 2 clients already. Big tax relief. I got $35,000 in payments. So you can see these are all the business owners. These are all their clients, people that they help. And these are also the people that you would be closing on your sales calls. All right, here you see Dream Team Academy. They're looking to pay their closers anywhere between $6,000 to $10,000 a month. So if you open this, you can see this is a company that helps career-driven women lose weight, break generational curses, and achieve their dream bodies through personalized fitness and nutrition coaching. And so if we click to learn more about the company and their website, you can see Pat is the owner of the program. He's got a video here introducing himself, and you can see all the different results of the clients that he's worked with and how much success he's had over the years. Pretty cool. Step 2. Now that you've gone over your Tinder selection of companies and you have found one that looks promising, it is time to win them over in an interview. Now, here's the thing. When you have a remote job, you're now all of a sudden competing against remote workers. And remote workers is a global network of hundreds of thousands of trained professionals. Or at least in other industries it is. When you look at other industries like coders or VAs or website designers or affiliate marketers, then your global competition is like India, Pakistan, the Philippines.
When I will grow up, I will be army
I promise you, they are going to outwork you every single time, and they're going to get paid 1/5 of what you would get paid, and they're going to be happy about it. So in order to get paid in those industries, you've got to be really freaking good to get paid something that these companies deem it worthwhile to pay you 5 times more than just paying someone from one of these countries. However, with what I do, your core skill set is just having conversations in English with American clients. So I don't know if you've ever had an Indian telemarketer cold call you, but it usually doesn't bode very well.
Do not read in the card! Do not read in the card!
So just speaking native English already puts you above 50% of all the other applicants that are applying. I'm also not saying that you can't get a job in this space if you have an accent or are from one of these countries. It's just like harder for you in the same way that it's harder for us competing with you on freaking coding, because Indians are amazing at coding, guys. But if you are a native English speaker, you're still going to be competing with other native English speakers who might have more experience than you. So when I did my 30-day challenge to find a remote appointment setter job in 30 days, pretending like I was a complete beginner and had no connections in the space whatsoever, I got my job by simply following this framework. Number one, I just got them to listen to my voice as quickly as possible, meaning I would send them voice notes on Instagram, I would email them videos with me introducing myself, I'd try to reach out on Facebook with voice memos. I did whatever I could so they could just hear me to know that I'm not, I don't have an accent. Like, I'm not like 50% of the applicants that you're getting. Step two, in that voice note, I just asked to talk with them briefly. Inside of that talk briefly, aka the interview, I asked to do a role play of how I would speak with their customers. And by doing this, you're putting all of the attention towards the things that actually matters, which is, can you talk to my customers or can you not? And yes, obviously, like, your experience matters to some degree, but what I found is that it's a lot more important to just role play how you're going to talk with the customer before the interview so that you can demonstrate that on the interview. I've had plenty of friends and clients land jobs just because they were good in this area. The interviewer didn't really need to ask any other questions. They're like, man, like, you're good. I like talking with you. My customers will probably like talking with you. Let me sign you up. And that's the thing about this job. Like, it's just a sales job. If you ever try to get a sales job at like a car dealership, they do not give a fuck about your credentials or anything, because sales is not an accredited skill that you need to go to university for. It's really just like having the ability to have these conversations well. Step three is, now that we have found a company that we like and we have locked in a contract, it is time to make that sweet, sweet, sweet money. That's right. Now it's time to actually cash flow down the river of Benjamins. And it's really not as hard as you would think. Like, I want to think that it's hard so that I feel good to my friends and family with the amount of money I make, but like, really, it's not that hard. At this point, the company is going to give you some basic info packet about what their company sells. Study that. Once that's done, the company is going to start filling your Google Calendar with hour-long Zoom calls that viewers of their YouTube channel or whatever have booked themselves. Like, they've literally clicked the link, filled out their information, chosen a time to talk with a member of their team, this happening to be you, and they'll just show up at that time. And before the call, you're going to actually see information about the person that you're going to be talking to. So, for example, with the example I gave earlier with Vince here from that personal training program, this is what all of his viewers go through. So they go from one of his videos, they click a link, and they're sent to a page like this, where you fill out, okay, I'm a man, I am in my 20s, I am a massive 8 feet tall, I weigh 100 pounds, how active are you? I'm moderately active. Which best describes you? I can't get bigger or gain muscle no matter how much I eat or lift. I'm skinny fat. I look slim in clothes, but I do have body fat. So all of these 4 things, this quiz is meant to reveal a diet and exercise to get fit easy and fast. But really what this is, it helps aid in the sale for the closer, because now you understand, well, what is their biggest problem when it comes to gaining or losing muscle and fat and this kind of thing. Once they fill out that quiz, they're getting taken to a video So this video sells them on like a $50 low-end product ticket thing. After they buy that thing, they then get the option to book a call with the closer. Now, making like 5, 10, 15K, like it's all going to depend on the number of calls that you take. But what I'm going to do is just break down what I did to make my $5,753 in 12 days. So my trip was 12 days long. I took 17 calls with prospects, so almost 2 calls a day. Each call was about an hour. Some calls were like 45 minutes. Some calls were like an hour and 30 minutes. So it just kind of varied. Of those 17 calls, 6 people ended up buying the thing. Okay. Now, when you're selling a $10,000 thing, you get paid 10% and sometimes more, which means every sale you're getting $1,000. And that's what it meant for me too, in this case. So 6 people buying times $1,000 every time someone bought equals $6,000 minus one fucking guy who only paid me like $750. Like I only got $750, and the rest of that money is going to be paid later. It's not like he negotiated me down or anything like that. Now, that's all cool, fun, Danny, awesome. But there are a few things for you to consider when you're thinking about increasing or decreasing your income in this position. And I've thought about this a lot. Number one is like, hey, Ethan, do I have the option of taking more calls? Instead of taking 17 calls, I want to take 30 calls. Sucka, can I do that? Well, yes, you do have the option of doing that. So most closers that I've seen, they take like 3 to 5 calls a day. And that's why some of them make like $20,000 or $30,000 in a single month. But if you're on a trip like I was, you just like message your business owner and say like, hey, I'm going on this trip. I want to open my calendar for like 2 hours a day. He'll be like, cool. And he'll send the rest of the calls over to like other closers on their team. So like you control that. You have flexibility over your time, your schedule, and how many calls you want to take. Second thing to consider is this. If 6 out of 17 of the people bought, that means I've got this glorious 36% conversation to buy percentage. And this is a well-earned percent. I've worked rigorously to get that 36%. It's like that guy in Breaking Bad who's like 99% is a lot. Like I can't fucking get anywhere. It's like you gotta work hard to get that like pure methylamine. If you've ever seen Breaking Bad, you know what I'm talking about. Most people when they start suck and only get a 20% conversation to buy percentage, meaning that you would have to take 13 more calls than me to earn the exact same amount. I know, crazy. And this is what most beginners do in this industry sort of space. Like they take a lot of calls in the beginning so that they can work to bump up that percentage as quickly as possible. Sales savages like Alex Hormozi have a percentage of like 50 to 60%, which at that point is just legendary. Third thing to consider, and you probably didn't even think about this, is, hey, Ethan, what if I just sold a $20,000 thing instead of a $10,000 thing? If my commission stays at 10%, then I could take even less calls than you and make more money. Could I do that? So to answer that question, yes, your commission will still stay at 10%, but no. You can't sell that thing for $20,000. Why? Because you forgot that you suck. Because when you sell something that expensive, you have to be having a conversation to buy rate of at least 35%. You got to recognize that those companies are paying money to get you connected with calls. And every time you don't close them, it's costing them money. So they're not willing to risk hiring a noob. They really want to make sure they're hiring good professionals. It is definitely not a place for noobs, but it is definitely a workable number that you can strive for. And so yeah, if what I've said interests you and you want more of like a step-by-step plan of how to get into one of these positions exactly in 30 days, then click one of the links down below and that'll get you set up with a free training. Okay, bye.
We're here in Switzerland.